Welcome to the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce second annual Moment of Remembrance. We're here over at Joyce Kilmer Triangle with the Sullivan High School Junior ROTC to honor those who have fallen in United States military history. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Joyce Kilmer, why he's important, and why this triangle was dedicated to him. Joyce Kilmer was born on December 6, 1886 in New Brunswick, New Jersey. He was the fourth and youngest child of Annie Ellen Kilburn and Dr. Frederick Barnett Kilmer, a physician and analytical chemist employed by the Johnson & Johnson Company. Kilmer entered Rutgers College Grammar School, now Rutgers Preparatory School, in 1895. At the age of 8, during his years of grammar school, he won the Lane Prize for Public Speaking. He was editor-in-chief of the Argo school newspaper. He loved the classics, although he had considerable difficulty with Greek. And his last year at Rutgers, he won the first Lane Classical Prize, a free scholarship for an academic course at Rutgers College, and $100 in money. Despite his difficulties in mathematics and Greek, he stood at the head of his class in preparatory school. At Columbia, Kilmer was vice president of the Philosophical Society, associate editor of the Columbia Spectator, the campus newspaper, and he was a member of the debating union. He completed his Bachelor's of Arts degree and was graduated from Columbia on May 23, 1908. Shortly after graduation, he married Eileen Murray, a fellow poet who had been engaged since sophomore year at Rutgers. The Kilmers had 5 children: Kenton Sinclair Kilmer, Michael Barry Kilmer, Deborah Clanton Kilmer, who were Catholic nuns at St. Benedict's Monastery, Rose Kilburn Kilmer, and Christopher Kilmer. Within a few days after the United States declared war on Germany and entered the First World War in April of 1917, Kilmer enlisted in the 7th Regiment of the New York National Guard. In August, Kilmer was initially assigned as a statistician in the U.S. 69th Infantry Regiment, better known as the Fighting 69th, and later redesignated as the 165th Infantry Regiment of the 42nd Rainbow Division, and quickly rose to the rank of sergeant. Though he was eligible for commission as an officer and often recommended for such posts during the war, Kilmer refused, stating he would rather be a sergeant in the Fighting 69th than an officer in any other regiment. In September, before he was deployed, the Kilmer family was met with both contrary emotions of tragedy and rejoicing. The Kilmer daughter, Rose, had died, and 12 days later their son Christopher was born. Kilmer sailed to Europe with his regiment on October 31st, 1917, arriving in France 2 weeks later. Before his departure, Kilmer contracted with publishers to write a book about the war. Deciding upon the title Here and There with Fighting 69th, Kilmer wrote home stating, "I have not written anything in prose or verse since I got here, except statistics. But I've stored up a lot of memories to turn into copy when I get the chance." Unfortunately, Kilmer never wrote the book. During this time in Europe, Kilmer did write prose sketches and poetry, including the poem Trees, and also Rogue Bouquet. During his time in Europe, he wrote during the 1st Battalion of the 42nd Division, which had been occupying the Rogue Bouquet Forest. Kilmer sought more hazardous duty and was transferred to the Regimental Intelligence Section. In April of 1918, he wrote to his wife, Helene, "Now I'm doing the work I love, and work you may be proud of. None of the drudgery of soldiering, but a double share of glory and thrills." According to Hillis, Kilmer's companion wrote, "He was worshipped by the men about him. I have heard them speak with awe of his coolness and his nerve in scouting patrols in no man's land. The coolness and his habit of choosing, with typical enthusiasm, the most dangerous and difficult missions led to his death. During the Second Battle of Maine, there was heavy fighting throughout the last days of July of 1918, and on July 30th, 1918, Kilmer volunteered to accompany Major William Wild Bill Donovan when Donovan's 1st Battalion was sent to lead the day's attack. During the course of the day, Kilmer led a scouting party to find the position of a German machine gun. When his comrades found him sometime later, they thought at first he was peering over the edge of the hill, where he had crawled for a better view. When he did not answer their call, they ran to him and found him dead. According to Father Duffy, a bullet has pierced his brain. His body was carried in and buried at the site of Ames. God rest his dear gallant soul. Kilmer died, likely immediately, from a sniper's bullet to the head near Mercery Farm, outside Oric River, near the village of Syringes, in France, on July 30th, 1918, at the age of 31. For his valor, Kilmer was posthumously awarded the Cross of War by the French Republic. Kilmer was buried at the Old Annie American Cemetery Memorial in France. Although Kilmer is buried in France in an American military cemetery, a cenotaph is located on the Kilmer family plot in Elmwood Cemetery in New Brunswick, New Jersey. A memorial service was held in St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan. This is a little bit about Joyce Kilmer and why he is honored here in Rogers Park on the corner of Ashland, Rogers, and Birchwood, and why we celebrate him on Memorial Day. I would like to introduce a mandatory treasurer of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. She is going to read a poem by Joyce Kilmer entitled Trees.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
Hi. Oh, when I was a little girl, I found Ogden Nash. And Ogden Nash wrote, "Oh, I think that I shall never see a billboard lovely as a tree, but unless the billboards fall, I'll never see a tree at all," right? I had to say that because I know that before I recited that poem, I would be thinking about that one instead. So, he was quipping, though, on an incredibly sublime 10 lines written by Joyce Kilmer that said, "I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. A tree who looks at God all day and lifts its leafy arms to pray. A tree who may in summer wear a nest of robins in its hair. Upon its breast the snow has lain, it intimately lives in rain. For poems are written by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Yay, I did it! And I am supposed to remember this wonderful man's name, Lieutenant Colonel Leonard. Yes, can you please join us now? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Leonard from Sullivan High School, Junior ROTC, and this is the Tiger Battalion from Sullivan High School, our color guard and our banner. We're very pleased and honored to be here this evening on this Memorial Day, where we honor over 1.2 million American servicemen and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Over half of those lost their lives during in-theater battles. We are very grateful for Joyce Kilmer receiving the Purple Heart, and he is one of many who has sacrificed for our freedom. At this time, we are going to have a moment of silence, and then we are going to play taps. The color guard will present arms when this is played in honor of all of our servicemen and women who have sacrificed on this Memorial Day 2013.
Present arms!
You guys roll around. Roll around.